We are live in the Zoom meeting using the Zoom meeting platform due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The purpose of today's hearing is to hear testimony from the mayor's nominee to the library's Board of Trustees, Ms. Donella Brockington. I'm sorry, Donella Brockington. Let me get it right. I know how people are about the names, like I am. Okay. The District of Columbia Public Libraries was created in 1896 by Act of Congress. It was set up as an independent agency that would serve as the People's University. Congress established a Board of Library Trustees to set policy for the libraries to maintain their independence. The Board of Trustees of the library is comprised of 9 unpaid district residents from all wards around the city. The mayor appoints these members. They are confirmed by the DC City Council for a maximum of two 5-year terms. Ms. Brockington has a wide depth of experience in corporate America, having served as the Vice President of Xerox and Lockheed Martin. She is a graduate of Clark University and Howard University, where she earned her master's in systems engineering. I look forward to learning more about this nominee. We have one witness sign up today, Ms. Brockington. With that, I'm ready to hear your testimony.
Thank you, and good morning, Chairman White and members and staff of the Committee on Recreation, Libraries, and Youth Affairs. My name is Donella Brockington, and I'm delighted to appear before you today as a nominee for appointment to the District of Columbia Board of Library Trustees. I would like to express my profound gratitude to Mayor Bowser for nominating me for this important moment for the District of Columbia. And I also like to thank the committee for holding this hearing and for your continued advocacy for equitable and impactful library funding and programming across all 8 wards. And as council member said, I am a proud native Washingtonian and a proud graduate of DC Public Schools and a lifelong resident of Ward 5. And after completing my bachelor's degree at Clark University, I did return home to Washington, D.C., where I have been. I studied at Howard University. I did earn a master's of education, and then I completed a master's in urban systems engineering degree from Howard School of Engineering. And it was there during my time in the School of Engineering that I had an internship where I first was introduced to DC government, having an internship with the then Department of Environmental Services. In preparation for this hearing, I reflected on my exposure to and experience with libraries throughout the district. Growing up, I walked to the Woodbridge and Lamont Riggs libraries to complete homework assignments and to check out books that transported me to different times and places. Once I was able to drive, I visited libraries throughout the district in search of books that were not available at my nearby branches, and just to experience the ambiance of other libraries in the city. I recall attending community meetings and events at libraries and enjoying the diversity of programming offered at the various branches. DC's libraries are dynamic sources of information, programs, books, and services that add to the quality of life for residents of all ages. They help make our city the vibrant, thriving place that we all love. Libraries provide environments that facilitate community conversation, creative inspiration and exploration, lectures, films, and computer access, workforce and economic development, story times for children, and much more. Our libraries enrich and nourish minds, transform lives, and build and support community across all 8 wards. And they continue to do all of this in the midst of an unprecedented pandemic and equally unprecedented era of racial reckoning in our country. My experience on the boards of 3 nonprofits, the Recreation Wish List Committee, Posse DC, and the Girl Scout Council of the nation's capital, each of which has successfully pivoted to continue to provide much needed programming to their participants, has uniquely positioned me, I believe, to understand the value and impact of community resources like libraries on all residents, but especially on traditionally underserved populations that have been disproportionately affected by the events of 2020 and early 2021. Libraries have provided computer access for families that otherwise wouldn't have it. They've given job seekers a way to look for new employment opportunities, and they provided a respite for some who were just looking for a way to escape the rigors of the day via a good book. The Board of Library Trustees has a unique opportunity to elevate its work on behalf of our diverse citizens. In its recently released Facilities Master Plan, it has demonstrated how important insights from DCPL's many stakeholders will drive more equitable and impactful libraries and library services. And I'm excited for the opportunity to be a part of this important work. I believe that my experience serving on boards of organizations whose missions include providing much needed opportunities and resources for youth from families and communities where opportunities and resources are often scarce, gives me an important perspective on the Library Board of Trustees as they operationalize the new FMP. In those roles, I've collaborated with community, education, and corporate leaders to build stronger communities by investing in underserved populations. And as a result, I've witnessed the many ways strategic investments, such as building or renovating a library or expanding services, can have a multiplier effect that helps to address other pressing social needs in our community. The Library Board of Trustees' underlying mission is ensuring that libraries are well maintained and adapted for new uses, and that they are also tailored to respond to individual community needs. Equally, if not more important, that mission includes serving more residents more equitably than today. I would be deeply honored to join the other trustees, library staff, and all of the public servants and officials who are working to build greater access to and equity in services delivered through our incredible library system. Thank you for your time today and for considering me for this important role. It would be my distinct honor to serve the citizens of my hometown. I welcome any questions you have at this time.
Thank you. First question. I know, Ms. Brockington, you had some very impressive corporate experience. Can you tell us just how are you plan on using that experience to help further the mission and vision of DC Public Libraries?
Well, much of my time spent in employment with corporate, with large corporate companies, allowed me to find ways to share the resources that they had with the community. And so I was privileged to be able to serve on boards as a representative of those corporations and to bring the resources that they had to bear on those various organizations. And I believe that that experience will allow me to use that network to bring additional resources to the libraries.
Okay. Do you have any priorities coming in and being on the Board of Trustees for the libraries?
Well, I'm more interested in finding out what the priorities already are. I know that they've done extensive work in engaging stakeholders to find out what stakeholders want. And so I want those priorities to be my priorities. Okay.
Do you have any personal business private matters that will prevent you from serving on the DC Public Trustees, Libraries Trustees?
None that I'm aware of. Right. I mean, I'm currently retired, so I certainly don't have any employment conflicts.
Okay, there we go. What do you have? What other boards have you served on in your tenures? What is your opinion on the mission and vision for DC, making DC public libraries more equitable to all residents?
Well, it's one of my primary focuses and one of the reasons I am excited about the opportunity to be on this board. I grew up in Ward 5. I visited libraries around the city. I more than have experienced the differences in the services rendered. And mind you, this is prior, obviously things have changed since I was a youth walking to Woodbridge and Lamont and Riggs, but I still notice that there are varying services offered, and that may just be because of demand in those particular communities where those libraries serve. But certainly there are differences, and I just want to ensure that the needs of the communities in which these libraries are situated are being met to the extent that it is possible for a library to provide that.
Thank you. So in our recent hearings with DC Public Libraries, there's been a lot of, thoughts around expanding libraries into different corridors with multi-mixed use libraries. Maybe library at the bottom of a building with apartments on top, and incorporated with retail space. How do you feel about this new vision of expanding the uses of spaces in libraries?
I think anything that brings the community closer to the services that libraries have to offer is a good thing. So if it means co-locating, I think we should consider that. If it means bringing them to untraditional spaces, I think that's a great idea. I just think that any opportunities for especially youth, but for everyone, to be exposed to the library's offerings. And I'm amazed at the breadth of what libraries are already providing. But I suspect that many people like myself aren't aware of it. So bringing those services closer to the community, I think, is a fabulous idea.
I had the opportunity of touring the new Martin Luther King Jr. Library. I don't know if you've been there yet.
I was there yesterday for the celebration of the 125th anniversary of libraries. It's a fabulous space. I'm so excited and can't wait to go back.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that I was impressed was with actual theater.
Yes.
The digital studio. And some of the corner labs that allows for innovation.
Yeah.
How do you think that the libraries can be helpful in expanding careers and access to careers in the district?
Well, as I understand it, they're offering some I believe it was the adult section on the 3rd floor, if I'm not mistaken, where they offer not only some support for GED, but also for getting certification in things like Microsoft that are highly sought out skills from employers. And so I think, to the extent that the library is able to extend those kinds of service offerings will support the district's workforce efforts, and also make available training that may not be otherwise available to folks who can't exactly pay for that.
Thank you. Will, it's been a pleasure speaking with you this morning, Ms. Brockington. I share some of the things you said as a shared vision of the district, especially around equity and access to literacy and learning and innovation. We look forward to continued dialogue in the future as we have more hearings with our colleagues around your confirmation and other related things related to the library. I'm always around for you to reach me if you need anything in additional support from me. But it's an honor to dialogue with you this morning, Ms. Brockington.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so excited about the possibility of being able to serve.
Thank you. So it is 9/17 on June the 4th, 2021, and we conclude this hearing. Thank you.